I'm now ready to create some railings in my villa style model. I'm going to create a solid railing for my stairs from the ground to the first floor, and then some railings to go along the roof parapet. I'll first navigate to my level 00 floor plan. I'll zoom into my stair, go to the Architecture tab, Railing. I'm going to sketch a railing first, rather than place it on a stair or ramp, so I select Sketch Railing, base level at 00. I have got 3 railing types that I'll be using for my railings in this model. I'll select the 1000mm solid railing. I will just use the Pick Lines tool to select the outside edge of the stair. Use the Trim tool to connect. I'm going to make this run 3200mm and this sketch line 2920, and then I'm going to add another sketch line at the bottom that will go 830mm. Don't worry too much about what this railing will look like. We'll go through the settings once I've created the railing. So I'm happy with this sketch. I'll hover over a sketch line and press Tab to ensure that I've got a complete loop or complete chain of lines. Click on the Finish Edit mode. I'll select my stair, select the Selection Box tool to automatically crop the view, the 3D view down, and you can see I now have this railing modelled at level 0, and you can see that it goes underneath the base, but that's okay. I now want to associate this railing to this stair, so I select the railing, navigate up to the ribbon, select Pick New Host. I can then select the stair, and you can see my railing is now adjusted to be fixed onto my stair, like so. So I've used the railing tool here to create effectively a solid piece of railing, and then if I tab on the top, I've created a handrail type which sits on top. I move my section box outwards slightly and up. I'll move section box inwards. So if I select the railing, select Edit Type, I have a handrail that's left positioned, and it's the type pipe 1100mm. If I open this type properties, I have a 30mm profile. The height is set to 1100. The hand clearance is -15, which actually brings it then into the center of the railing. I've also added an extension to the top, which is a floor extension with a length of 200mm. If I go to the rail structure, I've named a railing called square rail, and if I look at the profile, I've created a profile that's 1190mm tall, and it's rectangular, so it effectively is this rectangular shape here. So you don't necessarily have to use rails just for circular or thin horizontal elements. You can use them in this sense. And then the balusters, I've just created some round balusters where the base is the top of the square rail, i.e. the rectangular railing here, and the top offset is 1050, so just below the handrail. And I have no start corner or end posts. And click OK. Now I can see the railing is not ideal. You can see how it extends below the floor, and it also, if I move around, also extends below the floor here. This is just due to the nature of how I've set out the railing in order to meet the underside of the stair. So this just shows that railings are not the most flexible in terms of changing the profile as you were to move up, say, the building. But this suits the purposes for this model. So that is the first railing that I've created. I'll now undo this section box, and I will go to the roof plan. I'll zoom into the roof. I'm going to select the railing sketch path again. Select the roof. I have a 900mm roof railing. I will select this type. I'll then use the pick lines tool to pick the center line of these walls. Fortunately, I can't use the center line of this curved wall. I'll come back to those. Use the trim tool to make sure I've cleaned up the rest of the lines. If I use the measure tool, I know that the thickness of my wall is 287, so I can create a pick lines, set an offset of equals 287 divided by 2, and then I can offset like so. Trim these together, and I'm actually going to create a gap here for people to come up the stair and step over onto the roof. So I'm actually just going to retract this down to about here. Zoom out. Press tab. You can see I have a complete chain, single connected line. Click finish. And if I go back to my 3D view, you can see the railing here. Obviously, because these walls extend 200mm above the roof level, I can either set the base offset of the roof of the railing to 200mm above the roof level. I reset that to 0. Alternatively, I can click pick new host. I could pick, say, this wall, and the roof is now hosted to this wall. So if this wall were to change height, say 300, the railing would move up as well. However, if I were to set that back to 200, if I were to change, say, this wall on the right to 300 and click apply, you can see that the railing does not change height because the railing is hosted to this wall here. So it depends on how you'd rather associate this railing. Either keep it independent and just use the base offset, or host it to a particular object. I'm now going to go and create the railings to the outside edge of this stair here. So I'm going to go to the level 3 roof plan, scroll into the stair, go to the architecture tab, railing, again sketch path. Now I've actually already created these sketch lines and copied them to my clipboard because the lines are they overlap and they are a bit fiddly for this tight spiral staircase. So I'm just going to select paste, align to current view. So here I have a number of sketch lines, and you can see in this corner here they are overlapping. I just had to do this by just creating a circle, splitting the sketch line, and then changing the start and end point to suit the stair flight. Click Finish Edit Mode. Go back to my 3D. As you can see, it's now placed it on the level 3. If I select Pick New Host, and select the stair, and you can see it's created in here. However, I actually need to change it to the 1100mm roof railing that I created. However, if I zoom in, you'll see that the balusters here do not reach the tread, and this is because I've drawn the sketch line on the edge of the stair, and you can see that the balusters are slightly offset from the edge of the landing here. If I go to Edit Type, go to the baluster placement, you can see that I have a 25mm baluster for the regular baluster pattern, and then a 50mm baluster for the start, corner and end posts. If I click OK, and then OK, I can then change the offset of this railing from the path. I can set it to -25, as that is half of 50mm. Click Apply. I can see how now, because the balusters are completely over the stair, they extend down to the stair tread, thus completing my railing. So this is obviously quite a complex railing, and it's quite tight in terms of its geometry. As you can see, it's created a simple junction here. So that completes the couple of lectures on railings. They are very complex to control, to create and edit, so it's worth having a practice creating different railings for your designs. In the next lecture, we'll be looking at creating openings in the walls and also vertical openings for the stair openings.